Learn English grammar through Story Girl Meets Boy by Derek Strange. Donna's story is about a young girl who falls in love with a shy boy on a boat to Spain. She loses track of him in the disco, but then she sees him again in a small town in Spain. They finally get to dance together and start a relationship. Mark's story is about the same boy, but from his perspective. He is also shy and awkward, but he is immediately drawn to Donna. He is heartbroken when he sees her dancing with his brother, but then he gets a second chance to win her over. The town's story is about the town of Cumulus, where Donna and Mark meet again. The town is a popular tourist destination for people from Spain and other countries. It is a small town with a square, shops, and cafes. On the evening that Donna and Mark arrive, there is a disco in the square. They see each other again and start a relationship. The overall story is about young love, second chances, and finding the right person. It is a heartwarming story that will make you believe in love. Donna's story. Tense. The story is written in the past tense, as indicated by the use of verbs like was, started, looked, smiled, and went. Sentence structure. The author uses a variety of sentence structures, including simple sentences, compound sentences, and complex sentences. For example, simple sentence, I stood in the sun and looked at the sea. Compound sentence, I watched him over Louise's head all the time, but he was quiet and didn't talk a lot. Complex sentence, I wanted to stand up and sing and dance with him. Parts of speech. The author uses all of the major parts of speech, including nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, pronouns, prepositions, and conjunctions. For example, nouns, boat, sea, birds, people, boy, smile. Verbs, stood, looked, watched, talked, laughed, was. Adjectives, hot, big, blue, quiet, lovely, friendly. Adverbs, all, near, very, quickly. Pronouns, I, me, he, him, his, them. Prepositions, at, with, on, in, to. Conjunctions, and, but, or, then. Figurative language. The author uses a few examples of figurative language, such as the simile, it takes a day and a night on the boat from Portsmouth to Santander, in Spain. A day and a night together, on the same boat with him. And the metaphor, at that moment there was only him and me and him. Him and his smile for me. Only the two of us. Mark's story. Tense. The story is written in the past tense, as indicated by the use of verbs like started, was, liked, talked, went, and saw. Sentence structure. The author uses a variety of sentence structures, including simple sentences, compound sentences, and complex sentences. For example, simple sentence, I started Spanish at school in September and I like it. Compound sentence, old web is okay. Not bad, for a teacher. Complex sentence, I was up early in the morning, before 6 o'clock, so that I could watch the early morning sun and the sea. Parts of speech. The author uses all of the major parts of speech, including nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, pronouns, prepositions, and conjunctions. For example, nouns: Spanish, teacher, people, boat, day, sun, holiday, story, Argentina. Verbs: started, like, take, watch, walk, go, see, think. Adjectives: good, hot, lovely, small, red, dark, early. Adverbs: really, then, to, later, again. Pronouns: I, me, he, him, Dave, they, her. Prepositions: at, with, in, on, near, to, of. Conjunctions: and, but, or, so, because. Figurative language. The author uses a few examples of figurative language, such as the nickname Lovely Lucrezia for Mrs. Webb and the personification of the sea. Here are some specific examples of grammar in use in the story. Coordinating conjunctions. The author uses coordinating conjunctions to connect independent clauses. For example, in the sentence, I didn't want to watch, I walked out, the coordinating conjunction and connects the two independent clauses, I didn't want to watch and I walked out. Subordinating conjunctions. The author uses subordinating conjunctions to create dependent clauses. For example, in the sentence, I went to the disco later because I wanted to see her again, the subordinating conjunction, because, introduces the dependent clause, I wanted to see her again. Modal verbs. The author uses modal verbs to express possibility, necessity, or permission. For example, in the sentence, I could see her on the dance floor, the modal verb could expresses possibility. Adjectives and adverbs. The author uses adjectives and adverbs to modify nouns and verbs. For example, in the sentence, she was a really good-looking girl with nice brown eyes and black hair. The adjectives really, good-looking, nice, and black modify the nouns girl, eyes, and hair. The adverb really modifies the adjective good-looking. The town story. Tense. The story is written in the past tense, as indicated by the use of verbs such as was, came, stayed, liked, wanted, and danced. Sentence structure. The author uses a variety of sentence structures, including simple sentences, compound sentences, and complex sentences. For example, simple sentence: Donna was there with her family, at a table under some trees. Compound sentence: Mark didn't want to go to the disco, he wanted to sit quietly and think about the good-looking girl on the boat. Complex sentence: Time stopped. He was here. She was here. Parts of speech. The author uses all of the major parts of speech, including nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, pronouns, prepositions, and conjunctions. For example, nouns: town, buildings, square, shops, cafes, people, holidays, streets, children, disco, music. Verbs: was, came, stayed, liked, wanted, danced, stopped, looked, met. Adjectives: small, quiet, old, little, good, nice, brown, blue. Adverbs: here, now, always, sadly, slowly, happily. Pronouns: he, she, it, they, them, his, hers, ours. Prepositions: at, on, near, to, in, of, with. Conjunctions: and, but, or, because, so, then. Figurative language: the author uses a few examples of figurative language, such as the personification of time in the sentence, "Time stopped." Here are some specific examples of grammar in use in the story. Coordinating conjunctions: the author uses coordinating conjunctions to connect independent clauses. For example, in the sentence, Mr. and Mrs. Webb wanted to go to a little place near the beach where they always had good fish. The coordinating conjunction "and" connects the two independent clauses, Mr. and Mrs. Webb wanted to go to a little place near the beach, and they always had good fish. Subordinating conjunctions: the author uses subordinating conjunctions to create dependent clauses. For example, in the sentence, they wanted to have a good time on their first evening in Spain, and later there was the disco in the square at Cumulus. The subordinating conjunction, because, introduces the dependent clause, later there was the disco in the square at Cumulus. Modal verbs: the author uses modal verbs to express possibility, necessity, or permission. For example, in the sentence, her eyes were on the dancers, but she didn't see them, the modal verb "didn't" expresses necessity. Adjectives and adverbs: the author uses adjectives and adverbs to modify nouns and verbs. For example, in the sentence, Mark looked slowly at the people at the tables near them, the adverb "slowly" modifies the verb "looked." Vocabulary: sea birds, birds that live near the sea. Portsmouth, a city in southern England. Santander, a city in northern Spain. Boat, a small vessel used for transportation on water. Brother, a male sibling. Louise, a female name. Disco, a nightclub where people dance to electronic music. Coke, a popular brand of cola. Dance floor, the area in a nightclub where people dance. Door, a movable barrier that closes the opening of a room or other enclosed space. Sad, feeling or showing unhappiness. Coffee, a drink made from roasted coffee beans. Sorry, expressing regret or sympathy. Holiday, a period of time spent away from home or business for relaxation or pleasure. Goodbye, an expression used when leaving someone. Spanish, the language spoken in Spain. Teacher, a person who teaches. Old Webb, a nickname for a teacher named Mr. Webb. Argentina, a country in South America. Harry Potts, a male name. Sonia, a female name. Nick Atkins, a male name. Sue Bellamy, a female name. Dave, a male name. Lovely Lucrezia, a nickname for Mrs. Webb, who is from Argentina. Café, a small restaurant where coffee, tea, and light meals are served. Disco, a nightclub where people dance to electronic music. Cumulus, a town in northern Spain. Santander, a city in northern Spain. Square, a public open space in a town or city. Shops, establishments where goods are sold. Cafés, small restaurants where coffee, tea, and light meals are served. Madrid, the capital of Spain. England, a country in Europe. France, a country in Europe. Germany, a country in Europe. Holland, a country in Europe. Disco night, a night when a disco is held. Spanish people, people from Spain. Family, a group of people related to each other by blood or marriage. Trees, tall woody plants with trunks and branches. Dancers, people who dance. Music, the combination of tones or sounds for expression, creation, or recreation. Eyes, the organs of sight. Smile, a facial expression of pleasure or amusement. Face, the front part of the head. Hands, the parts of the body at the end of the arms with 5 fingers on each.